Hey guys, welcome back to Doing the Reality with Trisha and Kiley, and we have special guests LaVonne and Kelly from The Amazing Race. The latest team eliminated, unfortunately. I think the team we all thought would go to the end, and we're so sad to have them here on our show because that means they were eliminated, but so excited to get to talk to them today. So, hey LaVonne, hey Kelly.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
How are y'all? How has it been? This was filmed 2 years ago in 2018. How has it been, watching this air and, watching everything back and coming out of rewatching that elimination?
Reliving a painful experience. Like we were talking during the day before the episode aired, like I have so much anxiety. I really don't want to see this.
Yeah. It was, it was almost worse than I remember because I remember things like out of order because it was, 2 years ago. So there are things that you forget or parts of stuff. Like I forgot that, we didn't have a phone and navigation. I don't even know how. I think I blocked that like PTSD, like how
Yeah,
you like
the negative.
forget all of that. Yeah, I'll just remember the fun stuff. So it was fun to watch, yes, but then also on the other end of it, I was like, damn, that is painful. Oh,
So for
yeah.
those who didn't catch Kelly's Instagram live right after the episode aired, Kelly, you were in tears following this episode. So tell us a little bit about your emotions. Like what did that feel like rewatching your loss? And like you said, things were blocked out. How did that feel?
Well, I am highly competitive. Like, I don't want to lose a staring contest, if anything. So, to watch like a loss again was super painful. And then I cried. Not me. I was cried because I was sad, but I was crying because I wanted to fight the taxi driver. Like I wanted to scream and fight him, but I couldn't because I mean, obviously we have to respect other people's cultures and you can't just go around fighting people in Colombia. But it was just really painful and I was really mad because all of the challenges we did very quickly. But it was just every time we got in the taxis, a ride that was supposed to be 10 minutes turned into 30, 45 minutes. So like we would just be so far behind everybody else. So I was just mad the whole time.
Yeah. That would be really hard being competitive and, it not being something you can control. It's not y'all's performance, it is the taxi driver. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, that's tough. You're doing everything you can to win, and you guys, I mean, are naturally competitive. Of course, to be at the Olympic level, anywhere you have to, work hard and be competitive, be driven. And so for someone else, the taxi driver that Kelly will never forget his name, the one that
Evangelista.
it's I could imagine that being the most frustrating thing.
Yeah. So, what was y'all's favorite challenge that you got to do while you were there?
The truck was cool, I think. Like the truck was cool because we did it so fast. Like I was impressed with how quickly we threw it together. It was just the damn horn. Sorry for the curse words, but it was the horn. You know, reading the clue is a thing. But I thought the truck was fun because we just worked so well as a team without even saying anything. Like we got our stuff and we just started like putting it together. Like we didn't even have to really communicate. We knew what the end goal was.
That's great.
What about you, Lau? What's that face for?
Huh?
Why'd you make
the
that
truck
face?
was actually fun. I was laughing on the inside because the truck actually was fun until we had to get judged 9 times, and then I was like, I'm over it. I just want to sit down now. I'm over it. But the putting it together part, I'm like jumping in that thing, jumping inside of the dump truck, and I'm like, I'm inside of a dump truck. This is crazy, and just like, please don't fall on the ground and like break something. Just running, trying to get it done, and it was like wow, this is what the race is about. And then you get to the point where they're like, nope, still wrong. Still wrong.
You're like, okay,
Wrong still.
forget it. Forget it.
Yeah, forget it. We personally
I was afraid on the tightrope walk, but it wasn't like, it was more like a, look, Mom, I made it. I didn't fall. Y'all told me I was clumsy my whole life.
I didn't.
Go, Trisha.
Oh no, I was just going to say that we couldn't remember. We were like recapping the episode, and we couldn't remember the name of the truck challenge, and so Callie was like, "The Put My Ride challenge." We'll forever think of that. Redecorating the truck.
Oh, Phil.
Horn as Put My Ride.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it was basically. Pit My Ride. So, one thing that we wanted to talk about. So, Kelly, we did get to see you talk about your dyslexia. So, how was that being broadcasted on national television for you? Like,
It was like in the moment I didn't even realize like what I was saying. When you're talking to your camera guy and then you're in the middle of trying to do something, like
Yeah.
your mind is like, ooh. And then mind you, the night before we slept in this room with everyone, because at that point we were 22 deep. It smelled like feet and body, and they turned the AC down to like 50 something. So it was the coldest I've ever, like I was shivering. So you're already like sleep deprived and tired. But the reception for the most part has been like really well, of people being like, oh my gosh, I have dyslexia, my kids have dyslexia, you know, it's been really good to see you like push through to the end and never give up. But then I had people like, what you go on that for if you can't read well? Well, first off, that's not what dyslexia is. So
Right.
let's get that out there. Let's put that out there. Like, I read just fine. The degrees behind me tell me so. So let's put that out there. Like, and I'm like, your dyslexia gets very triggered in certain situations. And so that was the most stressful situation I've ever been in my life. And people are like, how can you say that when you ran track? I knew what I was doing. So with this, it was just like every time. And then we have other people around us yelling out color combinations and number combinations because your fish had to match both.
Yeah.
So hearing red, blue, green, yellow, 20 ticks, I'm like, oh,
Overload.
it's like, send me back. Just let me go lay on the beach. I'm overstimulated. So that was really hard. But for the most part, it's been, you know, a good reception. But I also don't really worry about perception too much, because as long as I'm true to myself, then it's fine.
Right. Well, I mean, I think, like you said, I think it's really cool because you are such an accomplished person, and for people to see you be vulnerable and have something that you've had to overcome that is so common, and that other people can be like, oh, hey, you know, like look at her. She is on this television show and she's an Olympian and she's got something that I do and she's going past it. So we thought it was really cool.
Oh, thanks.
And how hard? So we talked to Cody and Nathan about this drum challenge with the numbers. How hard? Like, because we saw some of the teams, like Michelle and Victoria, they like flew through it, and then you know we see like Cody and Nathan. And how hard was this? How hard was this challenge? You know, really, we know we got the edited version. Some people may have seen faster than they actually were, but how hard was that challenge?
So the drum it wasn't the difficulty of the drum, because then once we got the fish, we had to take the long boat ride back. And so we were at the fish challenge maybe an extra 5-10 minutes longer than everybody else. And so, you know, in race time, 5-10 minutes is like an hour.
Yeah.
So once we got back to the island, I went to the back one time, and everybody had been back there practicing and stuff. I went back there and ran through it one time, and I was like, let's go to the front and we'll work this out en route. So again, kudos to me and La, because I learned it en route. Like, I wasn't going to waste my time back there, because the practice area was a good 600-800 meters from where we were actually like doing the challenge. So if you were running back and forth, then now you're tired, you don't have any water, it's too much. So the drum was difficult, but it wasn't that difficult. It just took me about the same time that everyone else had to practice in the back. I just learned it en route because I'm like, I'm not gonna waste time back there. We'll figure this out. If I get lucky, then cool. But
Yeah.
at least I can keep practicing because also in the back, it sounds different from when the whole band is playing with you. Because the first time you hear, you're like, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Oh, these people are good. Hold on, hold on, hold on. You don't know when to come in. And the guy up front, he's like, just look at me, and he gives you like a little. You're like, no, that's not enough of a blessing to come in. So it's definitely different practicing in the back than when you can practice in the front. So it wasn't hard. It was just everything else that was happening with it. But like that's how the race is.
Yeah. So, LaVonne, what was it like for you sitting there? Because your reactions, like laying out on the bench, like, oh my gosh.
Sold out.
Do you think that you would have done better at this one?
It's so funny to have watched that. So it's so funny to have watched it and saw my reactions be so dramatic because I just feel like I am not this dramatic in real life. But
who's not?
on the one hand, I'm like, I may have done well at this challenge because I was in the band my whole life, but I didn't play drums in the band. I played the trombone. So even when people were watching the episode, I'm getting the most messages ever. Like, why would you let her do that when you know that you're a band person? I'm like, first of all, I didn't play the drums. Second of all, we agreed to who was going to do the challenge before we knew what it was. And so it's just like one of those things where it's just like, well, we are where we are, and she caught up really fast, to be honest. But it was just like sitting there and watching teams leave, and I'm just like, you can't let Gary do it before you. He ain't got no rhythm. So
Facts. And they gave it to Gary too, just to be honest. So that's out there. It's like his was a little shaky. Shout out to Gary. We love you. Dimples. You got lucky.
So that challenge reminded me, and like I feel like people who the Gen Z would never understand this, but whenever we were younger and we had, dial phone, like the house phone, and every button made a different number. And it was cool when I was in elementary school because you could play like jingle bells, on the dial. And this is what that challenge reminds me of. Like you're having to go with a number, that number makes the sound, and put this all together. And me and Kylie have joked that if we were to go on The Amazing Race, we would definitely have to work on something like this because I am so tone deaf and we have absolutely zero rhythm. So we would be off. We would not be good at this challenge whatsoever.
Yeah, we've like started a list of things that we would need to do to go on the race because we're like, we should apply together. And so we're like, okay, LaVonne, you speak Spanish, correct?
Yeah, fluently she
yes.
does.
Yeah, I was like, okay, add that to the list because that was so impressive. We can't drive a stick shift and we have no rhythm. So those are 3 things we have to work on.
But then even if you work on it, it's still going to come in like a whole package that you don't think. Because like I have rhythm. Give me a dancing challenge. I got your back. But never once it, or like even like playing the music, playing the rhythm of it was fine. But like remembering the numbers and having to memorize it without it being on the paper in front of you, like that's a lot to do in, this amount of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you guys should audition. Hell, see what happens.
Well, so you guys were friends before this, right? So like, how did y'all become friends, and what made y'all want to go on this show, or were y'all recruited? Because Cody and Nathan told us that they were recruited. Were you guys also recruited, and how did this come about?
This is LaVonne's question.
So, this is going to be a petty story because every time we have to talk about this story, she pettily says that she was not my first choice. So we got to get that out of the way. I wasn't. So basically, we were recruited. I was recruited actually on the idea of being on the show Survivor, and I was just like, I'm not a survivor. I don't want to do that. I'm not Beyonce. But so then they're like, oh well, you know, there's also The Amazing Race. What do you guys think of? What do you think about that? And I was like, yeah, I would do it. I had never actually watched a whole episode of the show. Like, I knew the concept of the show. So I'm like, yeah, I solve puzzles. I know how to do stuff. It's going to be great. So then I say, you know, I want to do it with my boyfriend that I had at the time. And the producers and the casting people were like, sounds boring. We don't want him. And so then I was like, well, I have a friend that I went to, that was my high school rival, and we went to college together, and we trained for the Olympics together. Like, and I was in her wedding, and I lived with her for a little bit when she had a baby. We have a great story together. And they're like, yes, perfect. We want her. And it goes from there where I'm like asking her, your husband gonna let you do this show with me? And she's like, child, who? I'm doing it. Like, okay, I gotta ask.
What do you mean let? Like, and I was like, eh.
I was.
We're going to do the show.
That's great. So y'all went to high school together.
We went to high school in the same, like, it's in the same place. So we're from about like an hour and a half apart.
We're both from Virginia, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is not. I don't know. I guess I was expecting. I know that. So Lala, you did the Olympics for Dominican Republic, and Kelly was for America. So I wasn't sure if like y'all met at the Olympics or like how this, you know, panned out.
Oh no, this is like a 22-year friendship.
Oh my gosh,
That's awesome. I love that.
We could kind of tell on.
And that's actually the funny part that they come up with, because they kept saying, why don't you touch each other? Why don't you hug? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you guys have made us touch more than we have in 20 years.
Like, why do I need to hug her? She's fine. Like,
She's good. She's good.
we're there. We're here. High five.
Yeah, Trisha's not a hugger either, so she is there with y'all. Like, no, I don't really want to hug her.
Like, you can show me love by not touching me.
100%. Like, we show each other love by like making a great cup of coffee, making a great cocktail, or like some good food, and you bring it to the other person, and we know we love each other. Simple.
That's great. So we did a cast assessment before the premiere, and we did not read anybody's bios ahead of time. We just reacted to it as we were reading them live. And one of the questions that they asked y'all, you may not even remember this, is like, what was your biggest fear about traveling? And most of your castmates were like, I don't want to lose my passport, or, you know, I'm afraid of flying. But y'all won us over, and at the end of the episode, we decided y'all were our favorite team because of your answers on this question. So do you remember what y'all said?
I don't remember at all.
Okay, Kelly,
No.
you said that you were worried about getting locked up abroad.
Oh, yep. If I would have fought Evangelista, there we go.
Yep. So your thing almost came true. And LaVonne, you really sealed the deal for us because you said basically that you were afraid of like being kidnapped or taken. I was like,
also kind of happened.
Yes, that is 1000% worst case scenario. You win.
Oh my God.
Everything else is easy.
Right.
You just keep your passport right next to you.
Once you
You're
travel
good.
a lot,
Yes.
most of that general stuff that you have, those are not like fears for us anymore.
No, like I've been everywhere. I would never lose my passport ever. Like ever. I would be naked with no drawers before my passport is not where it's supposed to be. So no, that's never even a thought. I'm a worst case scenario type girl anyways.
I also love that y'all gave like very similar answers in this. And I mean, that was definitely like, we got to y'all, we were like, Oh my God, yes, like that's absolutely like Liam Neeson is not our father. We are scared. Like,
Yeah. Yep, that is literally the worst case scenario is being taken.
we made all the other answers look like shit. Like we were like, the rest of these don't even make sense anymore.
If
Well,
this isn't
thanks.
your answer, you're lying.
And you know what makes it worse is while we were there, she was writing a book about someone who got taken into sex slavery. So
Nope.
it made it worse.
Yep.
No. I would, it's like when you watch a scary movie before bed, like you turn on the Disney Channel or like cartoons so that you clear your mind. Like if Kylie was reading a book like that, I'd be like, no, I'm gonna read Dr. Seuss over here. We are gonna be happy, go lucky. I can't.
Yeah. Like, bitch, what are you reading? That is so funny.
So, Kelly, you also talked about on your Instagram Live that you would be interested in doing the challenge. So we know LaVonne, you turned down Survivor, but the challenge. Would both of y'all go on the challenge, or tell us a little bit about that? Like, what do y'all know about the show? What do you think of the challenge?
Oh, I'm obsessed with the challenge. I've watched it since its conception. I've seen it go from like real world road rules challenge to what it is now. And like I miss the old heads. I cannot lie and say like some of these new crop, I don't really love them. But I love the challenge and I would definitely do the challenge. The only thing that like concerns me is I know the length of time they are gone. And it's longer than the race. And the race was really long to me. Just because I missed my baby. But I mean I would definitely still do it. Like it's like the political game. I love it. The backstabbing, conniving. Oh, I relish in it. The challenges are like super physical and puzzly. Love it. Like sign me up. Oh my God. Oh.
That is great. LaVonne, would you want to do the challenge?
So someone suggested it to me the other day, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. And then when she said road rules, real world challenge, now I kind of have a concept of what it is. I don't know if I necessarily, like, I'm not a collude with others, backstabbing kind of, like, my brain can't even start to do that. So I feel like I'd be the square who gets put off early because they think I'm too strong or something like that. And because I'm not making no friends, I'm eating my sunflower seeds and minding my own business. But the story is that, like, when I first got to South Florida, I was a finalist to be on The Real World. And what happened was they realized that I'm really boring. Like, I'm not going to argue with anybody. I'm not going to fight. I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, you got it. Get out of my face. Stop talking to me. And so, yeah, I didn't get casted for that reason. So I realized that, like, certain shows are just not meant for my personality because I'm literally not going back and forth.
So, being in the Olympic circle, do y'all know Lolo?
What happens?
Like, do you know her? I'm sure y'all know of her. You know her.
Look at this.
Yes.
Okay. Because Lolo's on this season of the challenge.
She's on this season.
Yes, I know.
So, I mean, just judging by your reaction, Kelly, like maybe there could be a rivals thing because
Hold
I feel
on, let me
like
fix my face.
I feel like there might be a story here, and that is one theme that they do on the challenge is rivals. So, like, I cannot think of a more badass duo to be rivals than
Oh God, that would be so amazing. But I mean, she can't beat me, so it's fine. I've beaten her at everything, so that's cool. There's that to prove it. But we lost La. We'll see what happens. But there is the like we were actually really good friends at a point, and then it went downhill from there. And there was lots of like mudslinging on her behalf because I don't do mudslinging in public. I'll just tell you how I feel about you. of accusations of I won my medal because I was on steroids and like lots of just stuff that you don't say about people.
Right.
So there's that. So yes, we but she'll never say it to my face. So that actually is a really good concept we could run with because there is very bad blood.
Yeah,
Very.
Well, we will tweet this out. We will add Una Murray at the challenge and let them know that put us on casting because we've got it right here.
we're
But
getting
yeah, all love to her. I'm glad that she's actually doing well in the media and doing stuff that she, really enjoys. So I love when like no matter what really happens, like when I see track and field people, because our sport is so different from other sports like basketball, football, when I see us getting opportunities, I think it is cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm sure, there's no ill will wished against her. It's just,
I know.
like, but if
It
y'all
would
were
be
on
cool
a show
concept.
together, right, where y'all had to be rivals, I mean,
There's something there. I mean, they pull at straws, to get
Yep.
rivals. So
It's very Googleable.
yeah.
Let's just say.
well, I would love to see you on the challenge anyway, but I guess now with this Lolo stuff, that would make it even more interesting. We also love the challenge. We cover the challenge as well, so we're looking forward to this season coming up.
Mhm.
We did a cast preview for that as well and a draft, and very interesting. There's lots of moments on there where we won't be able to live down, so I recommend y'all check that out. We mispronounced some names or mistyped some names on our
Okay.
show. It just didn't go very well. So when you're doing a live show and you mess up in that manner, it just kind of goes around and people don't let you live it down. So
They don't.
check that out.
Oh, I
I
will.
don't let her live it down.
Do you guys have any favorites from the challenge? Like, who's your fave?
Yeah. Who's my favorite? My favorite of all time. Let me think on it for a minute. Who's yours,
Well,
Trisha?
I definitely also love the old school.
Right.
I don't remember what episode we talked about this on, but we did talk about how I think we were explaining to some of our Big Brother people that were like, what is the challenge and why should we watch it? And we were trying to tell them episodes to watch and they felt like it was too trashy. And I was like, no, okay, in the beginning, there was a lot of alcohol and a lot of really wild people, and it was super entertaining. And I felt, I was younger then, and I was like, this is
Yes.
these are hilarious people. I love them. And now it's kind of developed more into this. If you're really good at CrossFit, you're going to go on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we see people like Jenny, who is not necessarily entertaining, but she is really good at the challenges. But I do feel like those old school people, Evan, Dunbar, Coral, all of those, old school players, old school CT, old school.
Oh my God. Yep. I love that they brought Darrell back because he is a monster.
Yes.
Yes, I miss the old school
I
people.
drafted Darrell on my team, but I'm not even going to lie, y'all. Okay, so probably my favorite person on the challenge, she's not good. I don't care. I love the hell out of Nani, okay? I can't help it. I love her.
She's
I
blind.
have a girl crush on Nani. I know she's not that great, but she's so entertaining, throwing noodles at people when she's drunk.
She's going to come unhinged at 2 points in the show. So at least, yes, there is entertainment value there.
Yeah, I like her as a TV character. I can't help it.
I'm with it.
Kelly, who is your number one female and number one male?
Ooh. I love Cam.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cam is a beast. Oh, you have a strong team. Well,
I do.
Yeah, Cam is really I love her as a competitor and I love how her composure. She you don't really see her get flustered too much. So I love that. And male. I mean, I've always been a huge CT fan. Especially old school CT. oh my gosh, I was a huge CT fan. So maybe like throwback CT.
Yeah. All CT. Some of these
Yeah, I mean, I felt
with Casey on this season from Big Brother, and she is known for being super boring, but has a great social game. Like everyone in the house loves her, so I think she's around. She's going to be around for a while, and I feel like that is just a testament to kind of how this show has changed, because Casey Clark that we saw last season and that we saw in Big Brother would not exist on old school challenge.
Yeah,
Because,
no.
they were like, we only care about how entertaining you are. The end.
right.
Now everyone is like athletic for the most part. Like
Yeah.
like you've got to come on there and like be a force, but then not be too much of a force, because you don't want people to be like, ooh. But if you're a rookie, they're gunning for you anyway. So like you're gonna do 3 or 4 of whatever the eliminations are called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they don't have I don't think they have alcohol in the house anymore. Maybe just wine.
I think wine now, yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah. It just takes away from our entertainment so much. I'm like, I miss these drunken fights.
Let them show
Well, they
up
go to the club
challenges
every
drunk.
other night.
Yeah.
So then they get liquor there.
Yeah.
Getting their club fights.
Yeah.
We have a comment here from Jaden Powers that says, I gotta say, I'm sorry my dad picked you guys to come up on top. He's always wrong. So Jaden feels like it's his dad's fault that y'all lost because he thought they could win. As I think a lot of people, when we talked to Cody and Nathan, we asked them, like, who was the number one team that you were most intimidated by? And they were like, did you see Kelly's hair? Like, that was, I mean, the Olympians.
I know Nathan said that. I know it was Nathan too.
Yes, it was Nathan. He was like, she had that alien predator hair and was ready to come after us. Like,
yeah. He was like,
everybody kept saying that, like, and that's how like the whole like Leo and Alana thing happened with Haley and Kaylin, because everyone was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so athletic. Like, we don't want to have to go against you in a foot race. So, but then like the challenges or the race is about so many other components other than just physicality. But yes, everybody was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so intimidating looking, or like during casting, if we got gym time, because other than gym and pool, like you're stuck in your room. So we had gym time, and like we do real workouts, and people were like, what are you doing? Like, what are you lifting? Why are you running that much? And they'd be in there like doing like their little like play around stuff, and we're like, yes. And I'm like, no, God, well, first we've been locked up in a room with the most food you could eat ever, so no, this is not good.
Yeah, that's great.
Jay.
Who were y'all most intimidated by, or when you looked at them, you were like, okay, this is the team that we got to look out for?
Yeah.
Not necessarily intimidated by,
yeah.
but
I think it was everyone, because the way that our casting went, they actually had 2 different castings for the one season. So when we got there and we were chosen, and they do the shakedown, and then you finally see everyone, half of those people we had never seen before, so we couldn't even like size them up. So then now you're in a fluster, because we knew Ishwar and Aparna, we knew Gary and D'Angelo, Haley and Kaylin were at our finals, Nathan and Cody, and maybe one other team, but I think that might be it. So when we're expecting to see all of these people that we had seen at finals, and we're like, who the hell are these tall girls? Like, what? And who are these people? And like Hung and Chi, like we had never seen them before. So then it was like, oh, this is a whole new thing, because you never know who's good at what. You just never know. So I think it was like a whirlwind of like, oh my God, like we didn't know if we call them the giant pandas, and we don't say that in a malicious way. That's what they love it. And so we look at them and we're like, oh my gosh, do they play volleyball? Because Michelle and Victoria are both really tall. And so you're trying to size up, like, are they really athletic? Are they not? So it was just everyone. But Maddie and Riley really intimidated me because I was like, ooh, volleyball players, and they're tall and they're nimble.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, watch it. Ooh. So like those two had me on edge.
Yeah, but that's what's interesting about the Amazing Race is, you look at y'all as Olympians and Gary and D'Angelo who play in the NFL, and then Hung and Chi, this cute little married couple. Hung looks like she weighs about like 15 pounds, and they win the first two legs of the race, and she's,
Yep.
like pint sized and so cute, and you just don't know
You
what's
don't
gonna
know. That's
happen.
the fun part because you just never know what challenge is going to come at you at
Mhm.
all.
You never know what taxi driver you're going to get.
Fucking Evangelista.
Evangelista.
Haunting of Evangelista. Ed says he doesn't know some of the laws in other countries. Was that, ever a concern? Like, you don't know, like, things about this country, they're definitely going to be different than America. Or did you feel pretty comfortable with like that portion because you and LaVonne had traveled, in the past for many years, y'all traveled. So what were your concerns there? Or did you have any?
Nah, I think like obeying the laws of another country is very simple. I think obeying our laws are more complicated because we have so many of them. But I feel like if you go into a country and you act like a regular person and you respect everyone around you, I think those are the laws of the world. So I've literally been everywhere. I've been to just about every continent minus like Antarctica. So cultures and like the world was never a thought. Now like I didn't want to like go off on the cab driver because that's obviously like not treating someone with respect,
Right.
even though like boiling inside of me of like, oh my god, I'm just gonna cuss him out. Like it would be amazing, but also that wouldn't help me get to the point any faster either.
Right.
Right.
So
If anything, he could have
yeah,
been, well, I'm just going to take these girls down an alley and
and drop them off in Bogota.
yeah.
And there we go. And that's how you get taken.
I wanted to switch with him though. I was like, can I drive? Like I will figure this out. Can I drive?
So, you talked about y'all were with him all day. So, was there never a point where you could hop in a different taxi, or was it like, nope, this is who you got? Just Evangelista.
Evangelista. When we landed in Bogota, went to the salt mines. That was about 2.5 hours, and then we had to take a taxi back 2.5 hours that morning. So part of the instructions were to take a marked taxi, and so we had to choose one in the cluster of running, and you just had to stay with that one because he had a little Amazing Race flag thing in the front of the car, and we couldn't just like jump out and get in another one because we definitely thought of that, but then like that was just not a part of the rules, and so we definitely didn't want to be a cheater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Phil. We are actually going to take this one over here.
This one, we're just gonna leave this one.
Switch.
Yep.
And then we win. Sorry. Bye,
So
Phil.
it's fine. You'll be fine, Phil.
That's great. Okay, so in the first episode, we got to see the goats, and we were like, you smoked this goat. Did y'all get to see any of the other teams run with them?
We saw Gary and D'Angelo and Nathan and Cody run with theirs. And Nathan and Cody were really funny with theirs because like it was like they were hurting them like the whole time. Like they didn't even like the goats didn't take off. The goats were like under some kind of Nathan and Cody trance. Yes, they were like, oh my god, they speak our language. Like how is this even happening? And yeah, see, like you love animals, we love you. Oh my god. But to watch the playback of like the wipeouts, oh my god, like I felt so bad for poor Hung on the mat.
Yeah.
And then oh my gosh, Leo and Alana falling, and I was like, oh, the goats didn't even run that fast. But I guess I also like am a bad judge of fast.
Right. Like when an Olympic runner is, judging this, we also, like, me and Kylie joked, I think, when we did the episode recap, we were like, Kelly should get extra points or like bump 2 spaces ahead because she beat the goat.
I beat the goat. Like I beat the goat. But I was just glad that no one got hurt because like going back and like I rewinded and
Mhm.
watched the falls. I'm like, dang, that could have been not good at all. Like
Right.
someone fell inside of the like caging. I'm like, dang, she could have like face planted and like scraped her whole shit up. Like that could have
Yeah.
been really bad.
Yeah. And I mean, I think after Hung slipped on the mat, you notice Phil, he's like, let him go, let him go.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh, we didn't think this completely through.
Yeah, no, it was I'm just glad that Hung didn't get hurt because she's so little and like she could have like smacked her head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely scary looking, and I don't know, like maybe she was sore after or anything like that because I'm sure adrenaline was just running because she was like got up and just snapped into like, feel like I'm so happy to see you. So yeah, that challenge was definitely interesting. So Cody and Nathan talked to us about how this cast, y'all all seem so close. Like we really see. I don't even remember like who all I've seen on Instagram like posting pictures of the full cast and just how much you all genuinely have such a good relationship and all love each other and all seem to speak very highly of each other. Would you agree with like, do you feel the same way? And like, what do you think it was like about this cast? Because we don't always see that on these Amazing Race shows or really any reality TV show where the cast is like rooting for each other, you know.
A family.
No, I don't even know. It was like I loved them before we could even talk. Because like after you're chosen and they bring you in and you're about to leave, you still don't leave for a couple of days because they're trying to keep the mystery behind it. So anytime that we were free, we would like make eyes at each other or like giggle at stuff or like whisper. So they kept calling us and we're like, God, you guys are just bad. And we're like, whatever, it's cool.
We're all
Um,
friends.
but yeah, like, and that's how it was. And then it's from the moment we could talk to each other, it was like we were all like, and we just all liked each other. And then we grew to love each other. And we've taken like 2 vacations to places like as a cast. We have a group chat. We all talk. Like it is, I don't even know. Like, and we're all so different. But then
Y'all
I think that's what makes it so cool because we can learn about certain things with each other. We can have cultural talks, we can have sexuality talks, and it's open and it's honest, and you can learn from people. And I'm like, damn, if the world could just be like our little microcosm of people, like it would be amazing because, like, I would have never met any of these people if it wasn't for CBS and Birch and Phil and his wife and all of them. Like I never would have met these people, but like we really do have a great bond. And if I have questions or I want to know something, like it's a place that I can go and talk to people who may not have the same beliefs as I do, but we talk to each other out of love. And
Mhm.
it's so dope. And we just have so much damn fun. Like we laugh and joke so much. It's great.
So you bringing, talking about the differences and being able to have conversations. So we did see when Alana and Leo were leaving, how they told Kaylin
Haley.
Haley.
and Haley about the horn. And, people brought up like, okay, this was a race thing because y'all told the two white teams, but you didn't tell Kellie and LaVonne. And, I saw like y'all's Twitter messages and everything. So do you want to speak on that?
Sure. Do I think Leo and Alana are racist? Absolutely not.
Right.
No. I think that maybe everybody may have an inherent bias. Like you may gravitate towards people that may look like you or make you feel more comfortable. Um, but like, was it a racist thing? Like, I don't think so. No, I can't even say I don't think so. Like, I know it wasn't.
Hmm.
So maybe it was a bias thing of like, oh, we want to work with them, or oh, we don't want to compete against Kelly and LaVonne because it could get tricky at the end, stuff like that. I don't think it was anything malicious behind it. Like Leo and Alana, they're married now.
Hmm.
But I was supposed to perform their ceremony, like actually
Oh,
marry
wow.
them. And so yeah, they're having a second one, and I will do like what the rabbi, because he's Jewish. So what
Okay.
the rabbi will say. Like, I will do that same kind of thing. So I don't think that it was out of, malice or not liking Black people or anything like that. You know, and then you make split decisions in the heat of the moment of things that maybe if you would go back, you may do differently or you may not do
Mhm.
at all. So, people have asked me about it. Like, I tell people all the time, like, there's a thing called Black Twitter and there's a
Mhm.
thing called gay Twitter. And like, you can't piss off either one because they will drag you. Like,
Right.
it gets bad.
Yeah.
And so Black Twitter was trying to drag them. And I was like, y'all just relax. Like, because at the end of the day, spoiler alert, if you've never seen the show, everyone but one team gets eliminated anyway. There's
Mhm.
only one winner. And, we're not mad. We love Leo and Alana. We had a great time. So they're great people. And I, hope that they have a wonderfully long, happy marriage with lots of little babies with glasses. Um, so no, I don't think that they're racist at all.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about it whenever, I watched it in the episode and then I get on Twitter and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, instantaneously
Oh, it got
they
bad
were
quick.
getting they were getting dragged." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like this that sucks because, I agree with you that, I don't think that it was anything that they did maliciously, just
Yeah, I think, and also we saw before we got to that challenge, we saw Gary and God, D'Angelo
D'Angelo.
Hmm.
help Will and James saying,
Hmm.
it's a tightrope challenge.
Right.
And so that's also, and this isn't the first time like we've ever seen this on Amazing Race. It happens season after season. You see teams helping other teams. And
Hmm.
I agree. I didn't even pick up that it was like something like we're going to tell them, but not them. Like I didn't even think
Right.
that at all. I was just like, I'm telling, in passing or whatever. I didn't think about it at all, but I did really love Leo's Twitter response to it. I thought it was very well spoken, and I think we can all take a lesson from this topic. It's a topic that is heavy in our country right now, and I thought it was a good lesson and something that we can all take a note from and just be more conscious about unconscious bias.
Hmm.
So, thought
Yep,
that
that's what I loved his response as well. And then I'm like, oh, like I think because I mean I would naturally gravitate towards people who I may be more comfortable with. So I
yeah,
mean, but I've been around a plethora of people, but like I definitely, have a super soft spot in my heart for like Jerry and Frankie.
Mhm.
And because I mean I know I was like, oh, they're athletes, they're Black, like, they look like me, they'll understand different plights or different maybe fears that I may have of, traveling and stuff like that. But like, I don't think that, well, I know all of us get along so well that there's no race issue, no sexism issue, no issues at all. We literally just have fun together and get along and learn about, each other.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I don't know if y'all watch Big Brother at all, but we're seeing kind of an opposite thing happening on Big Brother where it's like it's not being acknowledged or talked about, and it's
Hmm.
really tough to watch. And to see this being acknowledged and this being talked about and knowing that you guys are so so close were before and after this, like you said, love is the message to spread, and regardless of differences. And I just love that y'all talked about that at the end of our show last time. Cody and Nick, I think it was actually Cody, he was like, I just have something to say. And he goes like a little bit of like he has like these inspirational quotes that
He does.
I'm like, I don't know if he makes these up or he's just like a inspirational quote generator. He gave us an inspirational quote at the end of our show, and I wasn't sure if there's anything that you would want to continue past that baton. If there's anything like you would tell people that are watching this, or a message that you would just like to get out.
Yeah. Well, first, this stuff is so much harder than it looks from the comfort of your couch with your glass of wine and popcorn. There's sleep deprivation, you're hungry, whatever. So be kind to those who you see on TV doing something and trying something. Don't get on Twitter to trash someone instantly, because you don't even like the editing behind stuff is literally insane. So be kind to those out there. Enjoy it for the entertainment value, and leave it there, because people have real feelings and go through real things, and you don't want to hurt someone's feelings with your words, because you may not understand a total situation. And then I really did this for like the moms and the wives who may have put themselves on the back burner to, pursue that part of their lives. Because I was a jet setting business woman, athlete, traveling everywhere, doing deals. And then I slowed down to have a baby and to get married and to live that part of my fullness. And then, like with doing the race, it showed me that I can have it all. I can do anything that I want to do, with having a family, being a businesswoman, still traveling, still being on TV. I can do it all. So I don't want people to like let self-limiting beliefs of what society may put on you to be what you are. Like live outside the box and live a full life. Like have fun, because at the end of the day, like we all are going to die, and we have to remember what we did with ourselves and then how we left the world, because you will be remembered by how you treat people. So be gentle with people. Like everybody is fighting unseen battles. And if we just loved on each other a little bit more before jumping on social media to trash somebody, like we would be in just a better place.
Can't say it any better. That's a great message. I love it.
Yeah, so I feel like that is ending our show and our time with you today on a super positive note. I'm glad that you put it out there. I think especially after just all the dragging Alana and Leo got.
Bless them. I love them. Shout out to the green team.
Yes, go green. All right, guys. So that ends our Spilling the Reality with Kellie and LaVonne. LaVonne fell off, but we're still have love for her, and glad she was able to join us for the short time she was on. If y'all have, any thoughts, questions, drop them in the comments below the show. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit us with a thumbs up on your thoughts on today's episode. And again, Kellie, thank you for coming on. Thanks for being an amazing guest. And we are so not on our TV screens anymore, but we are going to get that hashtag trending on Kellie for the challenge. It's happening.
Let's do it.
Get it out there. Y'all get it trending on Twitter. All right, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And see y'all tomorrow with Kat Dunn. Cheers. Bye, y'all. I love her orange juice.